Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Michael Reed here, and welcome to a very odd toy review today. Today we are going to be looking at my complete collection of robot-related toys. This was requested. This video was actually requested by our brand new subscriber, the Robot Tricksters. So thank you to Robot Tricksters for requesting this video. So basically, yesterday. I'm going to clearly explain why this video exists. So I saw yesterday that we got a new subscriber, Robot Tricksters. Again, thank you for the request. He saw my Wowie robot review I did very long time ago. Well, a long time ago now. But, yeah, and he saw that, and he commented to do a review on all my robots. And I'm like, sure, I'll do it. So, you may be wondering why we're on our, and that's also why I'm on the floor right now. And also in the background, if you're wondering, that's my telephone. That's my, and there's my vaporizer. So if you're wondering what those are in the background, let's get on to it, shall we? So let me just open up my cabinet off screen here, and we're gonna look at some of my. We're gonna start off with the small guys, then we're gonna go up to the big boys. That's how we're gonna do this one. So first off, we're gonna start off with some. Well, not Wowie stuff. We're going to start off with my small robots, like I said. These are Sphero robots. Let me just grab them out. Ooh, I have a lot of them in here. Most of them I have in box because I haven't used these in years. So let me just take these out. Ooh, these are dusty. Alright, let me make sure I got all my small robots correct. Yeah, oh, shoot, I'm missing one. My Cosmo, right. Which you guys will all see that in a second. Alright, this is kind of a weird review. Because I haven't gotten out any of these robots in a long time. Alright, let me get all the... Actually, no, there's actually a couple more smaller robots, actually. Is that everybody now? Yeah, that should be everybody. Is that everybody? Yeah, that's everybody. Okay, so we're going to start off with the small guys and we're going to go up to the big boys. So, as I said, we're going to start off with this guy. This is the Sphero Mini. This thing is kind of interesting because it is a... little desk toy kind of thing, and I keep it in this little box here just because it's just really nice for display. So out of the box, this is the Sphero Mini. So Sphero Mini, very small little green ball. Sphero, very awesome company. Sadly, they don't really do many toys that much anymore. Although they were really cool back in the Star Wars Force Awakens days, as they released a Sphero BB8, which was really cool. Sadly, mine's out of commission, but we're going to talk about that in a moment. So this is their most recent robot that I've seen on their site. Yeah, my parents picked up because that's what my parents do. They're awesome. So anyway, Sphero Mini. Basically, it's everything that's great about a regular-sized Sphero, except for the fact it can't go underwater. Here's why. Because this one, which, by the way, let me describe what the regular Sphero does. The regular Sphero has the following. Color changing. It can charge off of a base. It rolls around, and you can drive it underwater, which is really cool. So you can like drive around in the tub or in the pool or in a lake or whatever you want it to drive it in, which is great. So, except this one does not have a charge base. You actually have to charge it USB. And you may be wondering, how are you going to charge this thing off a USB? Well, like I said, here's one of the cons why you can't drive it underwater. The shell opens. Which there are interchangeable shells. There's like a soccer ball one, there's like different colors you can choose, and they're all available on the website currently. And so here's the actual bot itself. So as you can see, it has like little rollers on the top, a little spring-loaded wheelbase here. This is what keeps it oriented. And here's all the techno bits up here. You can see like the microchip and all that kind of stuff, the LEDs, all the features inside. And here's the metal weight, actually. There actually is no real gyro per se. It's mostly reliant on this metal weight here, which helps keep it down, so that way when it rolls around, it obviously doesn't roll around too much of what's in the ball. And then here's the actual wheels. These little wheels are motorized, obviously, and they're rubberized as well. So they grip onto the sides of the ball and give it power so it can roll around. On there, I don't know if you can see, but it does say Sphero right there. I know you guys can't see that. Hang on, let me see if I can. Actually, let me try to get a light. Let me try my desk real quick. See if I can get that to focus. There we go. See, Sphero on the back, licenses, whatever. It also has more licenses on there. Okay. back to the floor. So, right. And then on the back here, we also have the USB, as you can see. So you plug it in with a micro USB, and that charges it up. It takes, I haven't really checked the time of it, but it's fairly short. I think it was like at least like 15 minutes, maybe 15 minutes or less, I would say, to charge. And then you get a pretty decent runtime out of it. I would say like at least like an hour, I'll say. At least like an hour maybe of runtime, maybe longer. I don't know exactly how long this thing runs for, but you know, you get a decent runtime out of this small little thing. Depending on what you're running it on, depending on what you're doing with it. Now this thing has a lot of features as well, which I'm not going to show here on camera just because of time, but it does have, like, it does run with an app, as everything does these days. It runs with an app, so you can like roll it around, you can play like soccer, you can do, it even has a face drive feature where you make facial expressions and it like drives the ball based on your facial expression, which is great if you're an actor or like a really good person with your facial muscles, which clearly I'm not, because whenever I try to do face drive, it usually just goes the wrong way. Oh, it also has a backlight as well, because it has like an orientation system, so it can like orient itself. It's somewhat very technologically advanced for what it is. So very, very good. Oh, it actually says here on the box, actually. It has 45 minutes of runtime. Yeah. So, like I said, fairly, yeah, right here, see? 45 minutes. I didn't even realize that. So I actually said on the side. And apparently also it has, yeah, 10-meter range, USB. It also comes with some bowling pins and cones as well. Let me actually show you that real quick. So in the box, you do get rolling pins and cones. So I forgot to mention that. Here are the cones. Fairly small, rubber cones. You can use these to drive around, like if you're going to do like obstacle courses, or you can just run into them if you wanted to. And it also comes with bowling pins, so you can play bowling. Because yeah, that's the thing you can do. You can bowl with this, which is kind of cool. So. All right, guys, 1 second.
Yep.
Okay, guys, pardon the interruption. So, back to what I was saying. Right. Sphero Mini, yes. Okay, so we were done doing that now. All right. So, let's move on to the next one. Now, as I said, I do have 2 of these, mostly just because like, you can't just have one. And just to prove that I'm not joking when I say that, here's my second one. So you guys can see, I literally have 2 Sphero Minis. Crazy, I know. So, next up, we're going to look at the next Sphero, which, unfortunately, this poor baby's out of commission because it got old and it doesn't charge anymore, it doesn't run. But I might try to get a new one day. We'll see. This is my original Sphero BB8 from the Force Awakens movie. So as a promotion with BB8, as he was the hot topic he was during the time of Force Awakens, Sphero actually partnered with Star Wars to do this toy. And this is great. And also for Last Jedi they did BB9E, but that one is super rare, and it also has a light up LED head, which is powered by like batteries. Yeah, those little button cells. That's what I was thinking, button cell batteries. So, and this is the original packaging as well, which I had to keep just out of sheer nostalgia. Although the top is a bit dirty, as you guys can see, there's a bit of ick on it. Anyway, so we have authentic movement, listens and responds, holographic communicator, autonomous behavior, adaptive personality. And also on the back here, you have what looks like BB-8 and the thing. You have some gobbledygook on the back, which you guys can read that if you want. So pause and read if you want that part. And then we also have the phone connectivity, the Wi-Fi connectivity, battery life, all that stuff, stats, you know. And also on the side, there's some other stuff on here. Traitware, skillware, hardware, and some more gobbledygook that I can't bother to read. Anyway, so let's crack this thing out of the box, even though, as you said, it doesn't work. And let's have a look at it in its form of glory. Something you gotta give Sphero credit for is this amazing box. I mean, look at this. It looks like he's actually like, this is actually like a metal box. Like, look at the detail on this thing. Very, very amazing. It also has BB on there for BB8, obviously. So definitely presentation was definitely a key factor here. Okay, this is popping open. That's not supposed to open yet. Okay. And then, as you can see, got some more detail on the top here. Excuse me, I was almost about to sneeze. Okay, that sneeze is probably going to come back and bite me later, isn't it? Anyway, so popping this thing open, you have Star Wars and you have the BB8 itself. And he is a tiny little pip in here. And he's really tight to get out of this box. Good thing they actually put grips, because good God. Okay, hang on a second. It's going to take me a bit to get out, because this is a really tight fit. Ooh, there we go. And then you get his tiny head. There. So this is BB8 himself. As I said, doesn't work. And here's my hand compared to him so you guys can get an idea of scale. He's definitely a small little guy. Something that I don't like about this droid a lot when it was still working is that the antenna always gets messed up. So you always have to keep bending the antenna back, which isn't a problem on 9E since his are actually smaller and a lot more sturdy. Anyway, so his head is stuck on with a magnet. You could buy separate heads online once, whilst his toy was in production. They had little wheels on them. And the reason why this guy's not in production is mostly because, one, Sphero lost the licenses to Star Wars for their products, and also just because of the fact that the toy isn't popular anymore, which is quite a shame because Sphero was cool for a time. They also believe they did a R2D2. They did a R2Q5. I think that's what it's called. It was a black and gold R2D2 basically, which is another interactive kind of droid. Those are super rare, and even if you can find them online, guys, I'm telling you, he's expensive. He is very, very sought after by collectors right now. So that's why I'm keeping mine in the box, and obviously since mine doesn't really work. But they did eventually do a reissue of this later down in the line as a battle damaged one, and it also came with what was called a Force wristband, which you could put on your arm, and basically you could control it with the power of your hand, which was kind of cool. But sadly never got the Force wristband, and never got that battle damaged BB-8, even though I might get it just so I can get another one of these that actually works, because he was quite fun whilst he was actually operable. So yeah, so a pretty cool little robot. Now, unlike the Mini, basically this is around, the body is pretty much just what was called a Sphero 2.0, basically the original Sphero, just version 2. And this one also is, unlike this Mini, is waterproof. So you could actually run this in the pool, or in the bathtub, or whatever the heck you wanted to run it, in water. That's water-based anyway. So, because it's all around sealed. So there you go. That is the BB-8 model, Sphero. Very, very cool one. Again, sadly, doesn't work. Shame. Next up, this one actually does work. This is the Sphero Ollie. This is the dark side Ollie, basically a black version of the original toy. And plus, it looks way cooler because it actually has these cool looking red LEDs that glow when you turn it on. It's really cool looking. So basically, the premise behind this one is that it basically functions as a speed racer type vehicle that can drift and do all kinds of cool tricks. So very, very cool one, the Ollie. I got this back in, I'm going to say 2016? I'm going to say 2016 as a graduation gift for 9th grade? I'm pretty sure it was 9th grade. It was either 9th grade or 8th. I don't remember. I think it was 8th. Yeah, it was an 8th grade graduation present. So, very, very cool toy. Again, original packaging, so you guys can see there is the wheels on there. Also, you could buy separate hubcaps for this. You could buy separate tires, which I did buy all the tires. I did buy all the hubcaps for it, so I pretty much have the entire package right here. It also came with like a skate park ramp that you could buy separately, or you could buy like a huge box set if you wanted to. And on the side they were showing the thing. It also says upgrade your play, go to Sphero.com. And this one is still available, the Ollie, so you can still buy it. I don't know if it's in stores, but I know you can buy it. So opening this thing out of the box. Ooh. Okay, yeah, this tab is always annoying. So you gotta push down the tab and slide it over. Come on. There. Oh, shoot. Got stuck again. Okay, so you want to do it like that. There we go. And in the box, you get your Ollie right here. So this is my Dark Side Ollie. The wheel's obviously very scuffed up from use. A very small little toy. Again, here's my hand to compare with the Ollie. And as you can see, it does have a Sphero logo and some LEDs going down the back, along with Ollie printed on his back, with a USB to charge him. So very, very cool little toy on its own. But then it also comes with the wheels, as you can see. And these are the basic wheels it comes with. And it also has hubcaps on the inside, which I'm not going to be taking out here and showing off because getting those hubcaps off is a pain in the bottom. So don't want to go through that pain right now. And also the tires, you can kind of figure out how those will go on. So, and like I said, there were different types of tires. There were like nubby tires. There were like these, I either called them acro tires, I think is what they called them. I don't remember. But they were like, they basically had like little arrows on them, and they were supposed to improve the gripability of the vehicle or of the bot. So very, very cool little thing. And here's the little thing where you would see it hanging up at probably Apple stores or something. Because Apple stores always sell those kind of things, right? Those little mechanical gubbins. So I don't know why I'm getting British on y'all, but that's that one. So very much enjoyed that one. So I'm not getting too much in detail with some of these. I just want to kind of do a speed review of this because there's a lot of them to review, and a lot of them, but there's a good bit of them to review, and because of time and because of your guys' time, don't want to do that. So next up is Cosmo here. Cosmo is from Anki. Anki sadly went out of business last year, which is kind of a shame because they were really cool. But anyway, so this is the Cosmo, which has been which their last bot they made was called the Vector, and was basically this, except it had Amazon Echo, or the Echo Dot technology in there. It was supposed to be like a home assistant, essentially, was what it was supposed to be. This one was more designed to be like a toy, or like an interactive desk pet. So basically this thing is in sleep mode. So let me move the head real quick. So basically the features of this bot include a full LCD display, built-in camera, so he can actually recognize your face. He has facial recognition technology that allows him to recognize someone that's talking or looking at him, which is very cool technology that he has in there. He also has a LED as well in the back, which does light up with 3 different little spots on the back. There's like a little speaker up at the top here. It also does have this little crane arm, which is used to use these interactive blocks. These are his interactive blocks, as you guys can see. He has LED. Each one of them has a different symbol. There's like a paperclip symbol one. There's like a little, what looks like a pair of glasses maybe, and then there's this one. So they all basically the same thing. You could put batteries in these. They have LEDs and they interact with Cosmo himself, which is very, very cool. So he can lift them up, he can stack them, he can flip himself over with them. It's very, very cool, little guy. What else can he do? He has little treads here, which, as you can see, I did customize mine, since it did come with, since I did eventually buy a tire tread pack, which you can decorate with him. So there's like an orange one, there was green, there was like a light blue, and then there's red. Also there was, and also the stock one is black. The stock are black treads, but I put red on them because I think it accents well with the red sort of accents on his body. So it fits. Oh, also there were some limited editions that came out. There was I believe there was like a sky blue, like a metallized blue one, where basically it's the same guy except it has like a different color and it's like a special edition, whatever. It was limited release or something like that. I believe it was to promote the toy originally. Was that one? I think there was also like a gunmetal colored one at one point. I don't remember exactly. Oh, and then of course there is this other version, the Vector, which is more of like a home assistant, and it also comes with like a little dish that he can kind of roll around in. So very, very cool. And I believe Cosmo and Vector can also interact. if you have the two of them. Vector is, also I believe these are both Cosmo and Vector around the same price, like around the $100 range. Oh, and also something else that's really cool about this robot is it has cliff detection. You heard that right. So if you have this robot on your desk, which is what it's recommended to be used as like a desk pet, it won't fall off your desk because thing is that this thing can actually explore on its own. But the only thing is that it's limited to the app. So you have to have the app on and you have to be connected via Bluetooth to the robot to actually make it run. But anyway, so basically this bot with this little sensor here, he can detect where the edges of your desk are, so he'll never fall. Like literally, you could have him on like the most like lopsided desk of all time, and he won't fall off. It's really incredible that he has this kind of technology. Also, there's like a driving mode as well, so you can like drive him around, and he can drive on different surfaces. Obviously, with these treads, like these tank treads, you can kind of drive him over like. Don't use him outside though because of the Bluetooth, but you can drive him around like on this carpet. He can drive around on really well. You know, he can climb over stuff a little bit. He's a pretty ambidextrous little dude. Also, he's very mischievous as since he likes to get into stuff, and he also likes to pounce on your finger, which is something that I always enjoyed. So basically what you would do is basically he would like look at your finger, you would like tap in front of him, and he would like pounce on your finger like a cat or something. I thought that was really cute little gimmick that he could do. There's also an interactive app. There's also an interactive app, obviously, so you can like feed him, you can take care of him, you can like tune him up, I guess. And there's also games you can play with the blocks as well, which is very cool. And here's the thing, is that there was a lot of technology went into this. The face display of this was actually designed and created by the people behind Disney Pixar, animated his face. So he looks very animated. He can do a lot of different facial expressions, a lot of different interactions with you and your friends, which is very cool. Something else about him that's kind of cool is that this guy was all the technology, all of this was done by college students. You heard me right. College students. Just out of college. They went and built this robot. Like, that's impressive. And all under a reasonable budget. This guy's not very expensive. Like I said, he's only like a couple $100 to get your hands on. And he is awesome. He was, like I said, he was a talk of the town, because if you were a technology nerd, you would have heard about Cosmo. I mean, who hasn't, honestly? Let me know in the comments if you guys have heard of him and any of my other bots that I mention here on the channel. Here on, not channel, but video. So, jeez. I'm getting all topsy-turvy here. Oh, and also I got a third-party, like a storage case for him. That's what I'm using to keep him in these days, because I don't want him to get dusty or break on me. Because, I mean, the BB8 was a huge loss. I don't want to lose Cosmo, too, so that would suck. Alright, so my next series of robots aren't necessarily robots. They're more like robots fused with cars. I don't think I've mentioned these before, so this is going to be the first time for the channel for you guys to see these. This was also made by the same company, Nuyk. These are called the Overdrive cars, which are remakes of a 2013 series called Overdrive, which was a series of cars that had robot AI technology, and it also came with like a track that you could set up and you could race them around. But these ones are way, way cooler. So let me show off one of the cars here. This is an Nuyk Overdrive car. This, for example, is Guardian. Guardian is a police car, and I love the descriptions of these cars. This one is described as having like an ultrasonic wave that it can send out to disrupt opponents' communications. Very, very cool car. As you guys can see, very nice chrome windscreen, which is acceptable to fingerprints, so definitely keep this thing clean at all times. The wheels are rubberized on the back of each car. There are LEDs, displays, and all kinds of robotic technology. So to start off with, these cars, basically you don't have to do very much when it comes to driving these. They pretty much automatically turn on their own. Let me explain. So with the tracks, right? The tracks are magnetic pieces that have codes built into the track. So basically, using the power of this little camera eye, which you guys can see down here, this little black box is where the camera is. It will scan the track and it will automatically drive itself, essentially. You don't have to turn. The only thing you have to focus on is the throttle and the speed. That's the only thing you have to control. Other than that, it does everything else for you, which is really, really awesome. These are weaponized as well. There are built-in weapons on these things. So basically this one has there's an ultrasonic taser gun, and there's what else is there? There's a mine, like a frenzy bomb or something, where they can drop it off and it'll destroy opponents behind it. That's really, really cool technology. And these were very popular as well. Let me show off the other ones I have as well. Also, I have here Nuyk. Nuyk is described as having a cool exterior, but an explosive power core that can destroy opponents with its nuclear explosive personality, I guess you could say. This thing has several nuclear-related weapons, including a nuclear gun, a nuclear Gatling gun, and there was a nuclear bomb kind of weapon, where it would you would pop it down, it would shoot off all these little energy beams that would destroy opponents. It's a really cool car. Very nice green on this too, and I see it has a toxic radiation sign on the back, which I really dig. And funny thing is, again with these were made again by the same company, Anki, same college students out of college. These guys, the people behind these cars were actually real car designers, so that's why these look so realistic, although they are small and chunky. So later in the line of the Anki Overdrive cars, we got Fast and Furious Edition, which came with these guys in the set. This is Dom's Ice Charger, as you guys can see. Very, very handsome car. So you have some LEDs in the back, which do glow. Which actually, I'm actually going to turn this on so you guys can see the LEDs. So as you can see, there are the LEDs that turn on, as you guys can see. So there's LEDs in the top of there, LEDs on the back, and LEDs on here. So very, very cool looking. Sadly, no LEDs on the front lights, though. Those are just painted. But, or actually, no, not even painted, printed. It's a very, very cool looking one. Oh, and also something else about to note, there is a bit of light that comes through this little pipe right there, which is very, very cool. I'm also going to show you guys the lights on Nuyk as well, and the other cars. So this is Nuyk, again, here are his lights. There are also lights on the front here, which you guys can kind of see shining through the dome. So, very, very cool. Here is Guardian. Guardian has LEDs on the top windscreen, on the back, and on the back lights. So there's that. Oh, and then lastly for Fast and Furious, we also get the International MXT, this little truck. So you guys can see with the cool little it's like a chrome, not chrome, camouflage on it. And this thing is awesome. Love this one. So as you guys can see it. Turning it on, as you guys can see, there are the LEDs on the front. One on the top and one on the back. The bed of the truck does light up. So very, very cool. Now, speaking of trucks, we also got a new upgrade midway into the line as well, called the Super Trucks. I only have 2 of them, although there were 3 of them that actually came out. There was Freewheel, which I will show you guys in a second, the X52, and then there was also the X52 Ice, which was a Best Buy exclusive, I believe, and was basically the same thing as X52, which I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about in a moment, so you guys can get better context of what's going on. And it also had, same thing, but it also had these icy blue and white decals on it, which looked really cool. Same car, except with a really kickin' paint. So, like I said, it was a Best Buy exclusive, although you can find it on Amazon and eBay, even though it's quite expensive because, again, it's sought after by collectors and completionists. So, here's the first one off here. Here's Freewheel. As you guys can see, Freewheel is quite a big truck. And just so you guys can get a comparison of how big they are, here is Nuyk for comparison. So you guys can see, quite a hair bit bigger than the cars. And on top of that, these guys have even more features than the cars. these guys not only have the same technology as the cars, meaning they can pretty much drive on their own, they could turn on their own, they can fire off weapons on their own, of course with you controlling them, but still, these guys have what's called a rage mode, which is where if you drive it around and you do enough damage in the game, which there is a game connected to this, as you guys could kind of tell, there is a game connected to this. This is basically like slot cars, but with weapons, and really much cooler, because you have to use the rails and have to clean off the brushes and all that other crap. If any of you in the past have owned slot cars, then you'd know how much of a pain in the butt they were to run. Since I did have one when I was younger, yeah, it broke. So mostly due to the fact of just how cheap they are. Anyway, so these ones have rage modes, which when you do enough damage in the game, they will basically get what's called a rage mode. You press a button on the app, and these guys will start charging really fast at the cards, knocking them out and sending them flying across the room, figuratively anyway, which is very, very cool. And they also have exclusive weapons, including this one has I think it's like a plasma cannon. Then it has like another like minigun, but the real treat is in the back of the truck. The back of the truck has what's called a what's it called again? The grav trap. So basically what you drive around and basically turn on the grav trap in the game, and basically what it does is it takes a car, quote unquote, sucks it onto the back of the truck, and basically uses the opponent as a shield in battle, and then once they're done, once the effects have worn off, you basically drive off, the other car is all damaged, it basically spins out and is dead. Which is a very, very cool gimmick. I do like that a lot, and it's very, very useful in battle, and it definitely doesn't make me rage when I do it with AIs. Totally not. Anyway, so in the last car I have here is X52. X52 is a big old truck, really big truck. So, which you guys already got that. But basically, this is a way more American style, like diesel punk kind of truck. Unlike this one, which is more of a Euro style cab. So, yeah, this one's way more diesel punk kind of really aggressive looking, as you guys can see. I mean, look at the front of that. Like, do you want to mess with that? Would you want to mess with that on a race? I don't think so. This thing would tear your face up, and quite literally it does. Which I will go over its features here. And also, look at the fist on this thing. Look at it. See, look at that. It's just, you can see the pure rage of this truck just punching through it. I mean, this thing is awesome. So, the gimmicks behind this one is it has what's called a thunder, like a thunder punch kind of gimmick, which is where it basically does like a ground pound and like sends a shockwave that destroys all cars in sight. It has a minigun on the front and on the back, and it also has what's called the pulse ram. The pulse ram is also really annoying, because the pulse ram, what that does is it sends a shockwave to the opposing car, ramming them off the track, and it pretty much can hit them almost halfway across a map, which is pretty ridiculous. Or halfway across the track, which is pretty ridiculous. I was meant to say. So, and again, it has the same features as X52, having the rage mode, and that drives on its own, that kind of stuff. Now I'm going to show you guys their lights, which they have these really big power buttons, unlike the small little tiny power buttons on the cars. So we flip on the power switch, and here are the lights. There are lights here on the front, as you guys can kind of see, faintly glowing. There's two on the back of the cab, and there's one on the top of the trailer, which the trailer cannot be separated. They are pretty much like united together by what looks like some kind of steel coupler on there. So yeah, there's no way to separate the trailer. And don't even try it, because you're probably going to break it. So here is X52 here, which these lights do light up. It's just not showing here right now. There are two black backlights on the back of the cab, and there's also one on the top of the trailer. Basically the same as on X52, Freewheel. Same thing, basically. Oh, and also they do have the camera as well for the track scanning. So that was Anki Overdrive. Look at that. So, very cool cars. Again, made by Anki. And as I said, they have gone out of business. But if you still want to buy the toys, obviously eBay, Amazon, you can buy them off there for relatively cheaper prices than the initial releases, depending on which one you're going after. As to this day, I still have not gotten all the cars, as there's a couple I'm missing. There's one called Thermo, there's another one called Big Bang. What else is there? There's also what's called the Nuyk Phantom, which is basically like a purple and white version that has like different weapons and stuff like that. So those are the ones I'm missing. Now let's see, where are the next robots here? Okay, so I looked at the WowWee robots, so you guys have already seen those. Though there is a couple that I didn't show though, that I recently just rediscovered, so I will show you guys that after this one, which I just forgot I had. So this is my next robot here. This next one here, this is called the Kamigami Robot. So what exactly is this thing, you may be wondering? And also I just realized I missed out on a robot earlier. Let me go grab it. It's over here. I got it for holiday last year, which I'll show you guys in a moment. After this one. After these two, then we'll look at the WowWee robots I was talking about. So this is the Kamigami Robot, as you guys can see. Not much to talk about on this one in terms of features. It's basically just like, again, another like desk pet kind of thing. It has lights on it, obviously. Now what's cool about this one is you actually have to build it yourself. What do I mean by that? So in the box you get like a sheet, right? Like a sheet of plastic that you actually have to punch out, and you follow the instructions on the app using these little plastic little like what do they call these, like little snaps that snap the pieces in, rivets, yeah, let's snap them in. And this thing and then after you're done building it, it's then a little bug robot. So if you guys know Hexbug, for example, which I forgot to mention, that's also something I need to look at, is my Hexbugs. There's your little legs here, as you guys can see. It can kind of like run around. Very, very cool. So it also can freak the heck out of anyone who's remotely near it. So that's cool too. So that's pretty much the Kamigami Robot. Not really much to talk about there. It also can charge. You can also battle with it with other Kamigamis. Now those were started as a Indiegogo campaign originally. So pretty cool to see an Indiegogo campaign thing become like its own like big franchise. And of course it's by I believe it's by Mattel. I think Mattel makes those Kamigamis, and you can find them in stores. They are still relevant, so you can find them, and they're relatively cheap. If you want to get the whole set, there's also, they have like different bugs, like they have like the ladybug, like I just showed. They have like a mantis, they have like a scorpion, like a Hercules beetle. They have all kinds of different ones, and pretty much they all do the same thing. You build them, with the rivets, following the instructions on the included Kamigami Robots app, and then you can play with it on the app, which is pretty cool. The next thing I got is another fairly recent thing, but does a similar style to Kamigami's. These are the Hot Wheels, what do they call this? I think they call it like the IQ or something. What do they call this thing? Oh god, what do they call it? Okay, so I think that's what they call it. Like the Hot Wheels IQ or something like that. Actually, let me look it up real quick, since I forgot the name of this thing. They're basically like build your own Hot Wheels cars, which are pretty cool. So let me just quickly look it up, what it's called. What do they call these things? Because these were released as an Indiegogo campaign as well, these ones. I've got to mention that. That's a Indiegogo campaign started thing. What do they call it? Oh, God. What is it called? Tech Mods, that's what it's called. Hot Wheels Tech Mods. That's what they call it. Again, started as an Indiegogo campaign last year. These are basically a build your own car. So what you do is you get a box set. There's different ones that are coming out later, that are coming out, I believe, later this year. But with COVID-19, obviously, that's going to change. But originally, they were slated to be released later this, more of these later this year. They started last year. So These things, basically, you get a box set, right? And it comes with different parts, and you build it up together with following the instructions on the app, the TechMods app, and you snap the rivets in, and you make a car, right? I forget the name of this one, but basically, they're all different versions of full-scale Hot Wheels cars. And you can drive it with an app. There's like different games on it. You can drive it around, and it uses tank-style controls. These things, so you can drive them forward, backwards, and the back tires actually steer the car, which is kind of eh. Also, there's a quote-unquote suspension gimmick on this as well, but it's kind of crappy. But it's still a really cool car, and also it uses a wireless connection. So actually, you could use this outside if you wanted to, which is kind of cool. So, yeah. So this is the Hot Wheels Tech Mod. Very, very cool car. Also, unlike the Kamigamis, these actually have plastic stickers you have to peel off to actually apply to the car. And cool thing is that there's also going to be planned box kits of just the sheets of plastic that you could use to decorate your cars and add new features, add new body shapes, do this and do that, which is kind of cool. So I dig that idea. So that is the Hot Wheels Tech Mod. Very, very cool vehicle. Now, next up we have are the my other Wowie robots. So let me go grab those real fast. And I think that's going to be all of them, right? Oh, wait, now, before I do that, let me show off this other thing real quick. Kind of a small one. I did a review of this before, but I might as well re-review it again, I guess. This is the Hexbug Scorpion. You guys can see. So Hexbug Scorpion. Very, very simple Hexbug. If you guys know Hexbugs, you put the batteries in them, you turn them on, the legs crawl around. It has little claws on it. It has like a little stinger. Yeah. Basically same thing as every other Hexbug, except now with a scorpion shape. So that's pretty much that, the Hexbug Scorpion. Very, very cool thing. Came out last year to promote, to add to your Hexbug collection. Now I'm going to quickly head out for just a second as I'm going to go grab my two other Wowie robots I did not review last time. Right. So actually, now that I got these guys, I actually forgot that there are a couple other Wowie robots I need to review after these. So stay tuned, guys, as we have a good bit of Wowie stuff to look at next that I forgot about because I'm too busy thinking about other things and doing this and that. So next guy here. This is the Wowie Tribot. This guy is very old, the Tribot. He does not work anymore. I lost his remote. One of his LEDs doesn't work. Yeah, he's pretty old. The Wowie Tribot. This was released around 2006, I'm going to say. Yeah, 2006 is when this was released. So very, very old toy. And very, very big. As you guys can see, compared to, say, the Kamigami Ladybug, this guy is huge. So basically, this guy had a whole array of effects, such as voice command. There was a guard mode. There was a drive mode. There were different games you could do. Like there was like a maze game, and there was like a what was it? There was like another kind of game you could do with them. And also he had a little like lantern gimmick that he had where his ears would pop out revealing like these LEDs, and then there was this top LED which I can actually reveal right here actually. It's very tricky to do, but you can actually get his top LED to open. Yeah, so he had a top little lantern that would pop up, and the LED in that one still works surprisingly. So, something else you could do with him is you could push his head in for different games. His eyebrows could move. His arms could move, as you guys can see. His arms move. He does have a, now these do not articulate themselves. You actually have to adjust these manually. So, and what's really cool is that these wheels actually introduce a new type of technology, which is seen on the WowWee chip that came out a few years ago, where it can drive around using these wheels, and it can drive forward, backwards, and it can also drive sideways. Like, it could drive like that, or it could drive like this, which is very, very cool. Little robot. So it could drive like diagonally and stuff like that. It could do all kinds of different driving mechanics. So really love the WowWee Tribot. Very, very cool toy from 2006. What a throwback to that year. Also released at the same time as this one was what was it called? Robo Me, I think is what it was called. Robo Me, or like Mr. Personality. That's what it's called, Mr. Personality. Basically, it was the same guy, except it had like an LED, and it had like a MP3 player ability, and it had all kinds of stuff in there. Which actually reminds me of another WowWee robot that I wish I had, which is called the RS Media. Basically, RS Media stands for Robo Sapien, basically along the same lines of my other Robo Sapiens I've looked at, except that thing had a MP3 player, a built-in memory card. Like, the thing had like a whole array of technology in there. Because when that was released around 2006, 2007, that robot was like the big thing, and also MP3s were like the big thing at the time. So that was like really huge for WowWee at the time, back when they made these really cool robots, like for example Tribot here, which does not work again because MOS remote and his LEDs are kind of busted. So next guy here we have this is Robo Panda that I got way long time ago as well. So Robo Panda is absolutely huge. He's about the size of a toddler, I'm gonna say. So fairly big toy. Basically, what he can do is he has an array of sensors on him. Like, as you can see on his eyes, there are like little sensors. So he has LEDs. He has like what's really cool is he has touch sensors. So you can touch him in different parts of his body, and he'll do different things. Like, if you touched his hand, he would shake your hand. He could like he can't necessarily walk, but he can crawl. Which is kind of cool. His ears move around. He has a speaker on his chest, which he uses to talk. So you guys can see he is quite dirty, scuffed up over the years. He did come with a plushie that he can interact with as well, and he also came with 2 different memory cartridges that he could do different games and stuff with, which is very cool. Now, something else that is neat about these robots is that they could all be controlled because in 2014, I believe, they decided to do reissues of all the different WowWee toys that were popular for the time, like Robo Sapien, Robo Raptor, which I did have Robo Raptor, by the way. I did have that. So, really like Robo Raptor. Sadly, he got lost over the years and he broke. So, sadly, do not have Robo Raptor. He's no longer with me. I also had the mini Robo Reptile as well. I also had, I believe, the mini Robo Rover. I also had, and let's see what else did I have. I also think I had a McDonald's RoboPet. I believe it was RoboPet. I'm not sure. And I believe I also had a mini Robo Sapien V2. I'm fairly certain. No, I did not have a Robo Sapien V2. Never mind. Anyway, so. Very, very cool Robo Panda. Definitely dig him. Sadly, like I said, he does still work. It's just I don't really use him anymore because he's kind of gotten the whole like shock factor of this thing kind of dissipated after I got him. I believe I got him from I think I got him as I think it was like a school kind of present that my parents got me. Like, I think it was a graduation gift, I'm pretty sure, as well. Very, very cool robot. Sadly, don't use him anymore, even though he does still work and he is still functional. Alright, now for the last couple robots, which these guys are still pretty much work, except again, don't use them, because they're just not as, cool anymore, and I don't really, but I mean, I might use them one day, but like right now, I'm not using them. So these 3 are kind of all in the same kind of family of each other, I guess. Starting off with my MIP over here, which MIP stands for Motion Intelligent Platform. Basically, that's what it means. I know, a very nerdy reference. But for those who know me long enough, you guys would know my nerdy side. So, I bring out MIP. Here's MIP. God. So MIP does, as you can see, looks like a little Android kind of thing. Now, Cool thing about this guy is that he came out around 2016, I'm going to say. 2016 is when this came out, along with the REVs, the REVs, Robotic Enhanced Vehicles, which I also did have, except mine broke. They don't work anymore. So very, very upset about that. So here's Mip's full size, as you guys can see. LED eyes, like a little, like, this is like a infrared scanner sensor. His arms, again, do not move on their own. You actually have to articulate them yourself. Although something cool about him is that he actually has a balance feature. So he has a gyroscope stabilizer that allows him to balance himself on almost any surface he comes across, which is pretty cool. And also, cool thing is that he also has very cool technology in the fact that he can actually use that tray to hold objects that are bigger than himself. Like, for example, Mip can actually hold another Mip in his tray and not fall over, which is very, very impressive, although he does have to lean like this kind of to make it work. But, you know, it's still really impressive to see a robot that's able to carry another version of itself on wheels like this and not fall over, which is very impressive. So, and these guys are quite hefty, so that's very impressive. There also were upgrades for this as well. There were off-road tires, which I do not have. There was a turntable kind of thing where it was like a seesaw where like you could drive it up one side and it would kind of speed down the other. It also did come in different colors. There was also a Despicable Me minion version that came on like this little like rocket chair looking thing. This thing had multiple different versions, but this is the original MIP, and this is a silver version, which is also very cool to see. I think this was a limited edition one actually from Amazon. Silver one, very, very cool MIP. Oh, and also came with there's also a rechargeable pack you can get for the back as well. So if you don't want to use AAA batteries, you can just charge it via USB with the upgrade, which is again very, very cool little upgrades that they gave for the MIP. So very cool. So later down the line of the MIP series, we got another MIP, which is in the form of a dinosaur called Mepasaur, respectively. So here is Mepasaur. He was not as popular as Mip, but still a very cool looking robot. So basically he has the same thing as Mip, except he's a dinosaur now, and he has a swinging tail feature and stuff like that. So you guys can see, just like a Roboraptor from the past, he has a rubberized tail that can swing back and forth to add life to him. And also he has kickstands built into him, so that way he could sit down and get back up on his own, unlike Mip, where if he fell over, you had to manually pick him up, which is very cool. Also in the back, he does have his color sensor as well. Now, just like, Femasapien, this robot does have touch features. You can touch him on different parts of his body, and he'll do different interactions. He can interact with Mip as well, and also he interacts with other Mepasaurs around him. Also, he came with a ball as well, which I will grab off screen here. Let me grab it. So here is his ball. As you guys can see, he has different features on it. This is all battery powered. You can turn it on and off. There's like a little pad here, which has like a food mode. There's a toy mode. There's like a actual like chase mode. And there's what mode is that? Oh, it's like a leash. Yes, you could use him like a leash, like a dog. There was like a music mode, and there was like a dance mode, and all kinds of different modes you could do with this, just with the ball, or touch him, or use the app to control him. Just pretty much the same as Mip, except just slightly different upgrades. Oh, and also with this thing, there was only one upgrade for this, and that was the battery case. So you could get a rechargeable battery bottom if you wanted to use that instead of using AA's. So that is Mepasaur. So, and then lastly in the MIP series was the Chip. This is Chip, the robotic dog. Very, very cool robot as well. He's, again, in the same vein as Mepasaur and Mip, except he does not have a gyroscope stabilizer. His whole gimmick is that he has these really cool tires that allow him to drive sideways and horizontally in different directions, which is very, very cool. I forget what the name of these tires are, but very, very cool tires. Also, please do ignore my echo in the background. So, which I will take a look at her in a second as well. So you have the ears here, as you guys can see, nice rubberized ears. These do not have any kind of audio sensors, so you can't really... Well, you can talk to him, but he does have like a built-in speaker that he hears you with, and I believe they're in his face, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he also has a speaker down here. And he also has a magnet right here as well, because he can interact with his ball since just like Mepass, he comes with a ball that he plays with. He can sit, he can do tricks, he can roll over, he can do all kinds of stuff, which is very similar to another robot as well that was called the Zoomer, which I do not have Zoomer because good God, Zoomer was all over the place, and not to mention he was expensive. So basically, if you guys don't know what Zoomer is, Zoomer was another robotic dog released around the same time as Chip, which Chip was supposed to be kind of the competitor to Zoomer, but... and there was also different types of Zoomers as well. There was Zoomer, there was Zoomer Dino, and there was a Zoomer Chimp, which I know, crazy, right? So they even had a friggin' chimpanzee robot. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Look it up. So but yeah, and I believe they also did like an Indominus Rex for Jurassic World. I'm like, really? So Chip also does have what are called the chippies that are separate little robots that are battery powered, and they can interact with Chip, so they can kind of be like his puppies, kind of. Hence the name chippies. So very cool. They had different ones. They had like a Rottweiler. They had like a poodle. They had all kinds of different designs, and they were all battery powered, and they could interact with Chip, which is very cool. Unfortunately, did not get the chippies because first of all, I mean, why would I need them? I mean, Chip is good enough. So, plus, you know, at the stores I tried to find chippies at, I could never find them for some reason, which was really annoying. But other than that, that is Chip. That's your lot. Oh, and also something else that's cool about him is he actually has a charge sense as well. So unlike these other robots, pretty much, that have to manually be charged, this robot can detect its own charger bed, which he can sit in and charge himself, which is very cool. And he can also get off the charger on his own as well, which is very cool. Also, something else that's neat about Chip is, again, his ball, and he also comes with a wristband, a pair of wristbands. Now, you only really have to wear one, but basically it allows you to teach Chip tricks. And you can like reward him treats for doing tricks, which is very cool. Which again is like Zoomer, which you could give him treats to make him want to do tricks more, and he would adapt as you play, kind of thing. So very cool Chip. Very nice features on this guy. Again, you could control him via touch sensors, or you could communicate with an app, or as I said, you can use the included wristbands, which are over there, as you guys can see. Let me zoom the camera in. Can I zoom the camera in? No, I can't zoom the camera in. I'm going to have to manually do it. Yeah, so see, these are the wristbands. You guys can see there's like a tracker, all kinds of different things on there. This does charge via USB, which I do like, so you don't have to keep replacing batteries on those. Unlike the ball. The ball, you have to replace batteries. So the ball does have a glow sensor, and you can like touch it and interact with it, and you can do different things with it. So you can like roll it around, and he'll chase the ball. So actually, I can turn it on right now. As you guys can see, it does have like a little glow thing there, which does change color depending on what mode you're using with Chip, which is cool. And like I said, there is a magnet in his chest. I believe it's either in his chest or in his nose. Where's the magnet? It's in his chest. Yeah, so he can grab the ball with his paws, but also with the magnet and like roll it back to you, which is kind of cool. I dig that. He can chase the ball like a real dog. So, very cool Chip. And also his eyes do light up, and he can bark and do different things and move his ears and he can't wag his tail, sadly, though. His tail does not wag. But other than that, I mean, he's a pretty cool dog, not gonna lie. Even like I said, don't use him just because he's just, again, the awesomeness factor kind of faded away, and plus, you know, I've moved on to bigger, better things. But still, he is still a really cool novelty. And, you know, and it's a cool thing, and it's a cool little topic, like, you know, table conversation starter, I guess, for my house. So, I dig him. He's a very cool little toy to have. So, those are pretty much all my robots there, guys. Pretty much everyone. I don't think I missed anything. The only thing I have really left to review are maybe like my radio control stuff, but even that, I don't have very many. But if you guys do want me to do those, definitely let me know. If you guys want me to do that, I will. But again, this video was requested by the Robot Tricksters. So thank you for requesting this review, because I wouldn't have done it otherwise, honestly. So thank you for requesting this. And yeah, I'm going to end the video there. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed.